Reaction video to Kevin Samuels. He says that women don't know math and they don't know how much they're losing out here staying single.
Be honest with yourself. I want to talk to the women who are saying, you know what? If I got to work, I might as well stay single.
So I did the math, and guess what I came up with, ladies? I came up with if you stay single for 30 years, you've losing about $2.3 million. Did you think it was that much? Did you think it was more? Or did you think it was less? So how did I come up with that number? Let's get right into it. First of all, I came up with if you and a mate are living separately, separate houses, separate electricity, gas, water, heat, internet, cable, odds are that each of you are spending about $2,000 a month. I just use that number. When you spread out $2,000 a month over 30 years of you each maintaining a separate household, which is what two single people would be doing, that equates to $720,000. My second category was for delayed house purchase. Now, when you're saving for a house, you can always save faster with two people. Doesn't mean you can't get a house on your own, but you may not get it as soon as if you were married with another person. So I factored in that it would take you 5 more years to buy a house if you were doing it by yourself versus someone else. I factored in that the housing market may go up $20,000 a year. So those 5 years you delayed saving money because you're doing it by yourself, I added on another $100,000 that you had to pay for that house because you bought it 5 years later than the married couple. The next thing I went to was move-in ready. I told you I'm a real estate investor and I love selling to single women. You know why? Because I know they don't want to get their hands dirty. They don't want to do a thing. They want to move in ready. As opposed to a couple, a man and a wife, typically the husband will say, I could do that. I could fix that myself. We don't need to pay for that. So guess what? When you buy into a move-in ready house, you're paying a premium, typically about 30%, because the person who did all that work for you, they need to make a profit. So I factored in another $80,000 for the move-in ready house versus a house that might need a little work that your husband could have helped with. The next thing I factored in was neighborhood. Because if you're single, you can't just move anywhere because you need to be near your friends. You need to be able to meet up for brunch. You don't want to be stuck out in the woods all by yourself. You'd be scared way out there in the suburbs by yourself all alone with nothing to do. So you're going to need to live closer to the city because you're going to need to be near all the action. So you know what? Those homes are more expensive. So I factored in another $120,000 because you need to be near the up and popping neighborhood as opposed to the husband and wife and kids. They can be out in the suburbs where maybe it's not as expensive. The next thing I factored in was food. Okay, when you're single and he's single, he's probably going out and eating. He's probably not cooking every night. I don't know. You might be going out yourself. Who knows what's going on? But we all know it's hard to cook for one person. Typically, you cook too much food, you end up throwing food away because you don't want to be eating them leftovers over and over again. So odds are you're going out to eat a whole lot more when you're single than you would if you were married. So I factored in another $180,000 for that over a course of time. The next category is gas for your car. Now, you may have to drive separately to work. You don't save any money. But on the weekends, you're hanging out as a family. You're hanging out as a couple. You're sharing a car together. You're not going to separate places separately, having to drive yourself all the time. So you're saving some money on some gas. Over the course of time, I factored in another $36,000 for that. How about personal? Well, you ladies know that when you go out, you got to get your hair done, your nails done. You got to have a new outfit. You need to go to brunch. You need to get you some tickets to this jazz concert. I don't know, the latest, whatever, rap concert, whatever it is that you do. It's pretty clear that single people spend way more money on entertainment than married couples do. Doesn't mean married couples don't go out, but they just don't go out as much. And when they do go out, they typically don't have to spend as much as a single person. So I factored that in too. That's another $216,000 over the course of 30 years. Now, child care, once you have children, we know children are very expensive. And sometimes you want to go out, but if you're single raising a child, you can't always go out. You can't always get a babysitter. And sometimes maybe you got to drive and drop them off at your mama's house or your sister's house or something like that. But it's quite clear that when you don't have two people who can step in for child care, odds are sometimes you're going to need to pay for some child care. So I added in another cost for that. I went easy on you. I only added in $18,000 over the course of 30 years. Now we know that's really light, but you know what? I'm going easy. The next thing I looked at was vacation. Now I know this because me and my husband, we go on vacation all the time. And every time I book a vacation, I always see this little charge over here. It says single supplement. I'm like, wow, that's how much extra singles got to pay for this same trip than we do? Wow, I'm glad I'm going with you, honey. So anyway, I said, you know what? The cost of that vacation that you go on with your girlfriends where you got to figure out, girl, can you go? Can you get off and go with me? I don't want to go by myself. I'm going to factor in a charge on that one. And I'm going to factor in, over the course of 30 years, $45,000. The next charge I'm coming up with is health insurance. Because you might have health insurance at your job. He's got it at his job. But when you sign up for the family plan, we know you save a little bit of money. So I'm going to add in over there health insurance, a couple of $100 a month over the course of 30 years. That's another, $90,000. The next is taxes. We all know that married couples filing jointly pay less taxes than single filers. I mean, if you had two single people each making $50,000 over here, $50,000 over there, those two single people are paying more taxes than if those two people were together, still making the same amount of money. The government taxes you guys more, single people. They tax us married people less. So over the course of 30 years, that's another $150,000 you paid in taxes. Which brings me to another story. There's even other hidden costs of taxes for single people. Had a girlfriend call me. She says, hey girl, I'm about to sell my house. I said, you are? Really? She says, yeah, but man, I'm going to get hit with capital gain taxes. What did you do when you sell your house? How did you avoid capital gains taxes? I said, what you mean? I didn't have to pay any capital gains taxes. She says, yeah, but your house really appreciated. She says, your house went up over $400,000 since you owned it. I said, it sure did. She said, well, so has mine, because I've owned my house for quite a while now. I said, yeah. I said, but as a married couple, we get to write off the first $500,000 in equity that we built up, and we don't pay any taxes on it. I said, but you as a single person, you only get $250,000. I said, so yeah, you're going to have to pay taxes on that additional $150,000. I didn't have to pay that. So I didn't even include this on my chart, but it's a real cost. So she's going to owe 30% more taxes on some of her gain in her house than I owed on mine. Sorry, single people, that's a cost. The next thing is Social Security. I don't wish death on my husband. I love him very much, but he is older than me. And so I'm not saying he's going to die sooner or I'm going to die sooner. But typically, if you marry a man that's a little bit older, men typically live a little less than women. I don't know. Do we drive them crazy? Who knows? But guess what? When he passes away, I get his Social Security benefits. So I get my benefits, Social Security benefits, because I worked, and I also get his. So I get survivor benefits. Now, I may only live another 10 years after he passes away, but nonetheless, that's a couple of $1,000s more a month that I wouldn't have if I was single. So guess what? I'm going to add in another $240,000 over the course of the 10 years I stay alive past my husband, possibly. Then I'm going to add in life insurance because I have a policy out on my husband. So when he does pass away, you know what? I'm going to collect a $300,000 life insurance policy. Not saying I'm trying to get rid of him. I'm just saying I'm going to collect $300,000. Single people, do you have a life insurance policy on anyone? Anyway, that's it, ladies. This has come up to about $2.3 million. And honestly, it's probably a lot more than that. So a lot of women say,
Be honest with yourself. I want to talk to the women who are saying, you know what? If I got to work, I might as well stay single.
What's the point of getting married? I can do bad all by myself. I don't know. $2.3 million. That's a lot of money. And a lot of women are holding out for the rich guy who makes millions of dollars. This is just what the regular old Joe Blow guy. I mean, could you imagine if he had a pension too? Man, that might be a $2.5 million loss for single women. Anyway, women, you got to think about it. I know they're always talking about the bad side to marriage, but there are a lot of benefits to marriage. And this was just the financial benefits. All the other parts, the enjoyable parts of marriage, I didn't even get into. Maybe we'll save that for another video. But anyway, that's the reaction video to Kevin Samuels. Tell me what you think down in the comments. Talk to you later. Bye.